I was invited here to talk about the multiple dimensions of risk in coffee, and I'd like to bear in mind that coffee is not a staple food product. So I am not going to touch here on the question of food security, which occupied some of the time of Professor Saris here. Coffee has a very indirect relationship to food security, only in terms that for some countries, it is an important source of foreign exchange revenues, which can then be used to pay for food imports. But even the importance over time has been reducing. Most countries are far less dependent on coffee than they were 20, 25 years ago. So there are only a few exceptions among major coffee-producing countries where coffee is more than 10% of export revenues. I think the most outstanding example would be Ethiopia. But it's not. I'd like to separate the issue of food security from coffee. Now, here is what I'd like to talk to you about. First, the types of risk. Physical and security risk, quality, value risk, performance, counterpart risk, and price market risk. You may note that I will not touch on the question of weather risk and issues related to inside the production units. I'm going to talk about risk from the farm gate outwards. And in second place, I would like to give you some information about exactly what institutions such as the International Coffee Organization, how do they, what is the role they play in all this context. Now, just to put things in context, this is a chart of coffee prices from 1990 onwards. This is what we call the composite indicator price. It is a weighted average of several different qualities of coffee. We will go into in a bit of more detail later on about these different qualities. But what I wanted you to take away from this slide is look at the peaks in prices, and we had a significant peak during the mid-90s. Brazil had a frost in 1994. Brazil is the largest coffee producer. This sent prices immediately skyrocketing. They fell somewhat in the next 2 years, but as existing stocks got consumed and we ran into some problems in some other smaller producing countries, we had a further price spike in 97. So I'd like to remember this period, 94 to 97, as a significant period of high coffee prices. And as a result of these prices, production increased substantially, and we went through 5 years of overproduction from 2000 to 2005, where prices fell to the lowest level in real terms in more than a century. Since then, prices have recovered slowly, for the most part, from 2005 to 2008. We had a drop after the world economic crisis, but prices resumed their upward trajectory in recent months. This is a chart of the behavior from October 2009 till the end of last month, and you can see that from more or less May 2010, we have had sharp rises in prices. a bit of a retrenchment in the last few weeks in common with other commodity prices, but basically a very sharp increase, about 80% in this period. And I will not, I don't think this is the place to go into the reasons for these increases. There are fundamental factors that are important in this, especially problems in crops in Colombia. But of course, there's also an element of speculation also inbuilt as money has flowed into commodity markets. Now, here is where we start to complicate matters a little. Our composite indicator price is composed of the prices of four different, what we call groups of coffee, which represent standard types of coffee traded, not individual countries. Individual countries, the prices vary even more than this, but this gives you a good idea of how prices behave differently among the various types of coffee. The top line is what we call the Colombian milds. It's basically Colombia and a couple of African producers. The red line is what we call the other milds, basically Central America, India, and some other smaller producers, Papua New Guinea, things like that. And so these are basically similar in terms of their post-harvest processing. They are both Arabica coffee. The green line is Brazilian natural coffee. So that is also Arabica, but processed in a different manner after the harvest. So it has a very distinct taste profile. And the blue line is the Robusta coffee, a completely different type of coffee, with less value on the international market, but very useful, especially in the production of instant coffee. And so you can see there that these prices have varied in substantially different manners over time, especially the Robusta. And I think this is a very good argument to put to those who say that the recent price increases are totally driven by speculative elements. Why then would Robusta prices not move in the same way? And in fact, we have seen in recent weeks, it's paradoxical. There's been a generalized outflow of money from the commodities markets. This chart stops in April, but the Arabica prices have fallen in May, and Robusta prices have increased. So this, I think, is a cautionary note that we should take away when we talk about speculation dominating the current context of commodity prices.